Apple have just announced, in fact launched, their brand new AirPods Max. This is my live, unfiltered reaction. Welcome back to Ellis Reviews, and thank you as always for subscribing. If you haven't, just click the button. Easy. This week, unbeknownst to anyone it seems, Apple launched the AirPods Max, which is their long rumoured over-the-ear wireless noise cancelling headphones. And I thought what I'd do, which is a bit rare for me, is to just do a completely unfiltered live reaction to them. Now, I have admittedly looked into them. I've written a blog about them, which I'll link to in the video description. So I know a bit about them, but I'm still getting stuff right in my head because this is such a fascinating launch for Apple. It absolutely beggars belief, some of it. Some of the choices they've made are just stunning, really, for all the wrong reasons, and for some of the right reasons, possibly. We'll get onto that. But yeah, let's just get into it, really. The price. They are £549. There's no way to swing this. That is an awful lot of money for a pair of headphones. And really, it puts them somewhere between the likes of the Sony XM4s, which I love. I will leave a link up here somewhere to my review of them. It puts the AirPods Max somewhere between these and top-end audiophile headphones. I don't personally think that's a place anyone wants to be. The reason being, £250 to £350 for a pair of headphones is a lot of money for a lot of people. I get that. But with something like the XM4s, and actually things like the Bose Quiet Comfort QC35s, or whatever they're called, you get a lot for your money. You get an awful lot for your money. Those headphones will last you a long time, and yeah, you'll love them, and you won't regret spending that money. Once you go above that, you're then in this weird kind of netherland between those prosumer headphones, if you want to call them that, and then the really high-end stuff that goes into the thousands. And you don't just need the headphones, you need an amp, you need the best cable, you need everything. It just gets incredibly expensive. And that realm has an audience, and that realm is audiophiles, and they love their sound, and they won't think twice about spending up to £2,000, probably more, on a really good setup. Apple has picked this kind of weird position right in the middle of that. £549, and for that, from the looks of it, you get the headphones, you get the carry case, which we'll come on to in a bit, and then you get a lightning to USB cable. I'll come on to that in a bit as well. And that's it. You don't get a charging brick. I guess you probably get a year's worth of Apple warranty, but that's it. You have to buy the auxiliary cable separately. That's about £35, $35. By comparison, the Sony XM4s at the moment are £349, £200 cheaper. The Bose Quiet Comfort 35 Series 2s are £229. It's an incredibly expensive pair of headphones at £549. And I'll let you into a little secret. Running a small YouTube channel like this isn't cheap. Everything you see that I review on this channel is bought by me, it's owned by me personally. I'm not given them the review units. It all has to be invested in, but it has to be invested in with a business mindset. Now normally, okay, if I buy a laptop, for example, it's a big hit and it's a bit, but I do it because it makes sense. If I buy a pair of £200, £300 of headphones, again, the hit isn't quite as bad, but I can justify it. For the first time in quite a while, I really hovered over the buy now button for those AirPod Max because it's an awful lot of money. I went for it, I've ordered them, they're coming early January, but trust me, I really had to think twice about it because it's such a lot of cash. But I've done it, I've done my due, whatever you want to call it, duty for this channel, and I'm going to get them and review them properly and give you my honest opinion early next year. I can tell you straight away, if you want a very quick conclusion to this review, if I wasn't buying them for the channel, if I was just buying them for myself, I wouldn't buy them. I would not buy these headphones. They are just too expensive. I think for most people, the majority of people definitely, the price is going to be the immediate thing that cuts them off. It gives them a scarcity. It makes them incredibly premium, and it takes Apple back to that kind of realm where they're very aspirational. You know, you're probably never going to own a pair of AirPods Max, but you want a pair. So immediately we're hit with this, a perfect balance of exhilarating high fidelity audio and the effortless magic of AirPods. Now the latter, 100% agree with that. So the AirPods, which I have here, the thing I love about them more than anything really is the fact that they are effortless. They connect to every device I have that is under my Apple ID, and unlike Bluetooth, They are just a dream to use. You don't think about connecting them. AirPods Max are going to join the family of these devices, and that's a good thing. The ultimate personal listening experience, I don't know what that means. No idea what that means. They're playing a big thing here. I won't play it, but there is a video that talks about the journey into sound or something. A big play here on sound quality, which they have to do. Now, they do have form for this, admittedly. I think over the last 2 or 3 years, most of their devices, whether it's been the iPhone, the AirPods, the laptops, the iPads, they've all had impressive sound in their niche, if you like. So I talked about this with the MacBook Pro 16, a fabulous sounding laptop. It's not hi-fi quality, as some of the reviews led you to believe, but it's a very good sounding laptop. And comparing it with other laptops, it's head and shoulders above. Same thing with the iPad, it's fantastic. iPhones sound fantastic as well. So they're doing an awful lot. And the AirPod Mini, which I am reviewing soon, it's over here, they all sound incredible. So these are going to sound amazing, there's no two ways about it. But the problem with that is that these exist. So headphones like the XM4s, and I've never heard a pair of headphones as good as this before at this price point. So to spend an extra £200, the AirPods Max have got to sound, I don't know how they've got to sound, they've got to be incredible. And then they get to the active noise cancellation. These score very highly on this. The Sonys are known for having incredibly good noise cancellation. So again, the AirPods Max at £200 more than these have to at least be as good as them, at the very least, and somehow be better. The problem with that is that I think there's a ceiling with noise cancellation. I don't know how they could be better than the XM4s, because the XM4s are just fantastic. I don't need any more noise cancellation, it works. And then we get to spatial audio for cinema-like sound. Now, I got a bit confused with this, but I've listened to a few podcasts that have mentioned it and looked into blogs. What it means, it's a combination of things from what I can tell. One of them is that it will give you a kind of 3D soundstage. So if you're watching a movie with compatible content, you will hear things behind you and at the top of you. So it acts a bit like Dolby Atmos, surround sound, whatever you want to call it, but just with a pair of headphones. That's pretty cool. The other thing it does, this spatial audio thing, from what I understand, basically, depending on where you have your phone, the headphones are aware of where the source of the sound is coming from. So if you turn your head, the source is still there and it still sounds like it's coming from there. If that's what it does, I don't care. I'm not bothered about the sound staying there. In fact, if anything, and someone else picked up on this on a podcast, that would be quite irritating, because when I've got my headphones attached, I want the sound to stay completely consistent. I don't want it to be moving around. So again, until they come in January, I will reserve judgment. Whenever a product is rumoured by Apple, we get all of these crazy renders of what it could look like. And every single time when the product comes out, personally, I look at it and just think, oh yeah, of course it's going to look like that. That's obvious. And that's what's great. That is how great designers go about their work. So, and the AirPods Max are the same. They just look like a nice pair of headphones. And here's that kind of very Apple Watch looking side shot, or is it a top-down shot? I think it's a top-down shot, isn't it? Very interesting that. I do find it interesting where they've put the digital crown and that button. It's a bit oddly placed at the top. Generally speaking, they're at the bottom, on the XM4s, they're at the bottom here. Most headphones these days are placed in there, so odd, but again, I will reserve judgment until I get them. And yeah, there's a digital crown, lets you precisely control volume, skip between tracks, answer phone calls, and activate Siri. These have Siri built in. Lots of headphones these days have built-in assistants like... I couldn't find any films matching Beltane playing nearby. Brilliant. The colours, someone pointed out that the colours do borrow from both the iPad Air line and also the iPhone 12 line. I'm not crazy about them. I ordered the blue, which are these ones here. So I ordered these ones just because I thought they just look better from my point of view. I think you can customize these because the ear cups are magnetic. You can detach the foam part of the ear cup and have different colors if you want to, if you're really crazy about spending money on these things. But yeah, they're quite muted colors these days from Apple, which I'd like to be a bit more vibrant really, but they're okay. There's a nice spread of colours there, which will satisfy most people, I think. And then we're back to audio quality. Sounds like an epiphany. Again, no idea what that means. And then it goes into things like the fact there's deep, rich bass, accurate mids and crisp, clean highs, etc. All pointing towards the fact, again, that these are going to sound pretty impressive, which we would expect them to, Apple. It then goes a bit more into active noise cancellation, and it includes the transparency mode, and that is genuinely useful. So on the iPads Pro, if you squeeze the earbuds, you get you can basically switch into something called transparency mode, which filters in the sound from outside. And it's useful if you're walking down the road, for example, you want to be aware of your surroundings. It's genuinely a useful feature. It's nice to know these have that feature as well, but again, you'd kind of expect that. They also have on-head detection, which again the XM4s have, and so do the AirPods, which is when basically you take the headphones off your head, the music pauses, you put the headphones back in, and it resumes. Brilliant. Generally useful, but again, you get that in lower end. I'm calling the XM4s lower end now, but cheaper headphones, you still get those features. Everyone is talking about the case. I showed this case design to my girlfriend and she hadn't seen it before, and I said, "What do you think that looks like?" Her response, "A bra." And it does. To me, it looked more like a handbag, I think, to begin with. It's every time I look at it, it gets funnier. I don't know what Apple were thinking of here. Again, it's just an odd decision to make with these headphones. If we put the design to one side, we'll come back to that in a second. The biggest problem with these, I think, is what looks like a lack of protection, if you'll excuse all these horrible puns that are going to come out now based on what my girlfriend thinks they look like. But this lack of protection for these headphones, there's gaps everywhere, Now, again, if I compare against the XM4s, sorry, hands up, these come with a hard carry case, which I throw them into and chuck them into my bag and do not ever think twice about them, don't worry about them, I just know they're going to be safe in there. I would not throw that in my backpack, ever, because they're just going to come out and be scratched, and it looks relatively thin as well. I wouldn't really want to drop them, or it just looks crap, Apple, I'm sorry, it looks ridiculous. Going back to the design of this is where Apple isn't really in touch with the real world like the rest of us. They know the internet exists, they know memes exist, they know GIFs exist. Why on earth would you create something like this, which is going to get the royal you-know-what taken out of it for weeks, and it's going to dominate, absolutely dominate, the first bunch of social media posts about it? Immediately, that's what happened. As soon as these were released this week, you go straight onto Twitter and all you see is people talking about air purses and air bras. It's not good product promotion. It's not good brand recognition. It's not good anything. It's just dreadful. My guess is that we're going to see third-party cases come on the market. Apple will probably launch some kind of hard case that will cost another £150. When they do things like this, you just think, who allowed this to get out of their grasp? It's just, and into the world, it's just terrible. Honestly, I can't get over how bad this is. It's just bonkers. I'll stop talking about the bra case. Battery life is quoted at 20 hours. It's pretty good for a pair of headphones, but the XM4s last 30, and actually they're smaller, even cheaper cousins, the Heron 3s, last 35 hours. But it's okay, because the AirPods Max, after a 5-minute charge, give you 1.5 hours of listening. Only the Sony XM4s, after 10 minutes of charging, give you 5 hours. The other thing about charging, pretty much everything on this desk, apart from the iPhone and the AirPods Pro, is USB-C charged. I only found out after I'd written my blog about the AirPods Max that they are charged via Lightning. I heard an argument for this today, which was that they just simply match what the AirPods Pro do and what the iPhone do. I don't get that at all, because Apple have iPads and Macs that are now USB-C charged. Why aren't they giving USB-C in their big headphones as well? I don't understand. I don't get it. Just give us a power brick, Apple, and USB-C charging. It's so much more convenient. It matches what the competition are doing. And that's it, really. And it does leave you with this question of who on earth is going to buy the AirPods Max apart from reviewers like me. I think the answer is people who want that Apple scarcity. They want to be the person who has that pair of headphones. Personally, I'll be scared, if I'm honest, to take them out of the house, not because I'm worried about losing them or being robbed, but because I don't really want people to know that I've bought them. I'm not at all saying anything against proper Apple fans, but it will be that group of people who've got a bit of cash and who love Apple through and through, love their design, appreciate everything they do, love the ecosystem, that will buy these. And we've seen that actually. The pre-orders now, at the time of writing, I think you have to wait until about February to get your pair of AirPods Max if you really want them. They may only have made 10, who knows, but they are going. So someone is buying these, and like everything Apple related, they'll sell quite a lot of them. The only problem with this particular product is that they don't have a particularly nice path to follow. And this comes back to the HomePod. If you remember that original HomePod, the great big thing, it was, again, in a very strange place. It was expensive, it sounded very good, but it would never replace your very expensive hi-fi if you're an audiophile. But it was way more expensive than the Alexas and the other devices that are smaller and pretty much just as capable, even if they don't sound quite as good. So again, it sat in that very odd middle ground, which there isn't a huge market for. That's exactly what these AirPods Max are doing, and I just don't know personally how big that market is. However, I have ordered them. Mine are on the way in January, and I will give them a proper test. I will put them against the likes of the XM4s. I think it's my duty to do that, and I will try and work out if you should buy them and who you need to be if you're going to buy them. That's it for today. I'd love to know what you think of the AirPods Max, so please get involved in the comments, just go for it. And while you're here, stick around and I will leave a link to my XM4 long-term review or 3-month review, just so you can get an idea of what the AirPods Max are up against. And in the meantime, I will see you next time.